Hello, scholars, and welcome. This is week one of POL452, Organizational Theory and Design. I want to start by welcoming you to this class. I'm excited about our next 8 weeks together. My name is Dr. Brian Gazzetta, and over the next 8 weeks, we are going to explore how organizational theory can be applied to existing organizations. Hopefully, the existing or the organization that we work in, we're going to look at it through both a practitioner's lens and that of a theory-based lens. So I'm excited for our time together. These videos are going to become commonplace. It is my intent to release a video each week, and each week this video is going to outline what we want to accomplish on that given week. Hopefully answer any questions or concerns we have about that week. We might reflect on the previous weeks, especially if there were some issues, and we might look forward, especially when it comes to our critical assignments, so to ensure that nothing sneaks up on us. But let's take a quick look at week one and see what we have in store. If we look at our weekly agenda, we have a lecture on organizational design and change. There is this introduction video. We have some readings this week, and our readings come from our two books that we have that hopefully we already have we've taken a look at and have been identified in the syllabus. The first text is going to be the Spectre text, Implementing Organizational Change, Theory into Practice, the third edition. And we're going to read pages 2 through 21. And there's a PowerPoint that's associated with that. And then we also have the Sims book, Managing Organizational Behavior. And this week we're going to be looking at chapters 1 and 2, pages 1 through 52. And what you're going to find is the Spectre book has a lot of case studies, and it looks at it through much of the practitioner of how these theories are being applied in the real world, in business, in organizations. Then you have the Sims text, the Managing Organizational Behavior, much more of the theory book. So if I were a student in this class, I would read the Sims book and look at the theory and then reflect upon the theory as you can see it being applied in the Spectre text. But you will each navigate through both these texts and find out what works best for you. We also have a video, more of a visual presentation on organizational design. And then we have 3 deliverables that are due this week. Discussion thread 1, journal number 1, and quiz number 1. And we can see that there's some associated due dates. If you haven't already viewed the syllabus, all of our discussion threads are due on a staggered approach. Your first original post is due on Friday, day 5. And the logic behind that is I want all of you to have an opportunity to read all of the posts of your classmates. And then those 2 posts that stand out to you, those 2 posts that you want to continue the conversation, you have 2 days to submit those. So your final 2 posts are due day 7, and that is going to be Sunday by 11:59. And that theory is going to hold true for all of our discussion boards. Remember, our discussion boards are going to replace that dialogue that we would have if we were a traditional student in the classroom. So I want us to take these serious, and I want you to take your time to do a good original post, and then to reflect on those posts and get back to these individuals with a nice, thorough comment. When it comes to discussion boards, I put a minimum word count. 200 for your original post, 100 for each additional comment. What I don't want to see is the good jobs, I agree with, good comments. I want dialogue to occur. I want you to add to the conversation. And us as online students, we realize that that is the way that we communicate. You've chosen to be an online student, and because of that, you need to communicate on this forum. And we have discussions in an online forum through text and through discussion boards. So let's look at each one of these in particular. We already discussed our reading assignment with both the Spectre text and the Sims text. We look at our introduction. And on our introduction, what I have 2 PowerPoints here. There's the week 1 PowerPoint, and then there's the PowerPoint that came with the Spectre text. What I always tell and what I always recommend to my students is I always recommend them to look through the PowerPoints, do the reading, and then look through the PowerPoints again. Remember, if you see something in the PowerPoint, what that is that we've just condensed what is in the reading that week into the target topics. So if you see it in the PowerPoint and then you read it and you see it again, you know those key topics that you're going to want to digest. And then you follow it up with a quick navigation through the PowerPoint again. And I believe that's the best method of not only digesting the information, but retaining the information. There's a quick YouTube video on organizational design, just a short little video to just kind of give you a visual representation of the information this week. And then we move into our deliverables. When we look at our deliverables, our first is our dynamic discussion thread number one. And what I want you to do is I want you to define the general structure of your organization regarding its design and explain how this structure impacts effectiveness, either positive or negatively. Create your own original post by Friday evening, day 5, and comment on 2 other students' posts by Sunday evening, day 7. And once again, I've listed there your original post needs to be 200 words and your comments need to be 100 words apiece. So we want you to look at your existing organization and ask yourself, based upon the readings, does the organizational structure, is it effective in a positive or negative manner? Now, my assumption is that because we are all OPS students, that we all are working adults and that we all have some sort of organization that we can build upon. If there isn't, you can reflect on or if you're not working in the job field right now, you can maybe reflect on a previous job you've had or maybe a job that you want to have in the future and make your reflections. But my assumption is that because we're all OPS students, because we're all working adults, because we've all chosen online and professional studies, we can use our own organizations. And remember, it can be positive or negative. Oftentimes, the negatives in society and in organizations really stand out. Sometimes the positives they don't stand out as much. The negatives, the glaring negatives, stand out. And I know for myself, having worked in the public sector for almost 20 years now, I've worked for some fairly poor organizations. That there are levels of negativity that I can obviously stand out and tell you about. And if you feel a little insecure about naming your business or naming the organization that you're in, you can be a little bit I don't want to say secretive, but you can definitely use whatever kind of precautions that you want to, so that to just maybe protect, and if there is some blaring negativity that you want to discuss. Then we work our way into our journal number one. And remember, our journal number ones are a little bit different than our discussion boards. Our discussion board is a discussion amongst yourself with your fellow colleagues in the class. A journal is a little bit different. Your journal is you sharing your thoughts directly to me. I always kind of think of it as much more of a private and informal discussion. I want to actually hear what you are thinking. Maybe some more of your informal thoughts. So in your textbook, Spector refers to 3 phases of change. He calls it turnaround, tools and techniques, and transformation. Based on his definition, comment on how they are related and give an example from your personal work life of how they work together, or an example of a time that they did not work together. And this will make sense when you read through the Spector text this week and you understand the 3 phases of change: turnaround, tools and techniques, and transformation. And I just want you to apply, has that occurred in your workforce? Or an example of when it did not. And then finally, we have our quiz. And on our quiz this week, it's true or false questions. It's not timed, but it can be started and saved and completed later. Only one attempt can be submitted. So once again, you can start it, you can stop it. It's not timed, but you only have one opportunity on it. And that's going to be our typical format as we move forward. And then finally, we have looking ahead to our critical assignment. And in the days to come, what I'm going to do is I'm going to make a specific video that just addresses the critical assignment and goes over that. So you can read through this, but look forward to another video this week on our critical assignment. As I close out this week 1 video, I want to just end on a positive note and say that, and just with closing, I want you to understand that I want this class to be a positive learning environment where we can reflect on our organizations, where we can look at the theories and designs and plug them into our these public organizations that we work in, and see what is working in our organizations or what could be what we could use to change. And that really is going to build into our critical assignment, where we're going to actually try to put a change process forward into an organization. So I look forward to that. Like all of our courses, I believe here, communication is key. So if you have any issues, concerns, comments, you need clarity, I'm just an email away. There's very few problems that we cannot solve with communication. What an issue is that when we don't communicate. So if you are having issues with the curriculum, if you're having problems in your personal life, getting in your professional life, with meeting the deadlines, get a hold of me, contact me, and we can work through almost any problem. The key is communication. Uh, if there's any issues, I'm always here for you. I kind of go with the premise that if I'm not hearing from you, the assumption is that you're understanding all the information, you're navigating through the information, you're doing well with the information. So communication is key, and I look forward to it. With that being said, I hope that you have a blessed week. I look forward to all of your information that you present to me. I look forward to us navigating through this course in organizational theory. I look forward to the knowledge that you're going to be gained and that you can pass on to me. This is going to be an exciting 8 weeks, and I look forward to it. So have a blessed week. Bye for now, and I look forward to the next time we can talk.